Hello there. Well, I cannot tell you how long it has been, or I can actually say how long it's been, because it's been since this place opened that I've wanted to visit here, and I'm finally here after more than 30 years of waiting. It's finally a time I can enjoy West Edmonton Mall. Now, of course, it is the tail end, as we would hope, of the pandemic. So that being said, not everything is open, including the attractions behind me. So we're going to kind of treat it as a bit of a whirlwind day here today, as restrictions aren't entirely stringent here in Alberta. They are going through a bit of a wave here currently, which has required them to start wearing masks indoors and other things like that some of us have enjoyed already for far too long. Bonus of all that, however, is that it is a very, very sparse mall. Now, you can't get into pathways and stuff, and like I said, the main attractions in, say, this aquatic area, unfortunately, are closed. You can't get on the pirate ship. You can't see the aquarium show. You can't see the live sea life show. All explainable, or perfectly understandable, given the circumstances, but let's hope that that comes back into play soon. What am I going to do here first on a very slow West Edmonton Mall day? If I can even say that, I'll probably say WEM. I did fly in just this morning, so I'm a little underslept, so forgive me with the time difference that I'm dealing with right now, but we're going to have some fun anyway, because right behind me on this side is World Water Park. One of the things I will hit today, because it's probably a slower day for this attraction than, say, tomorrow, which will be a Friday. We're gonna have a look at it first. I might go to Galaxyland first. Stick along, and we'll see what happens here at West Edmonton Mall. Okay, so we're just in the World Water Park section here. You gotta go down to the basement to actually access this area to get in, which is right behind me here. You also conveniently have these screens, which gives you a summary of what attractions are open, which is very handy, obviously, during COVID situations. Some of the extreme slides, in fact, only one of them is open right now, which is what I'm going to question or ask about. If hopefully they're open tomorrow, I'm going to get a 2-day pass. It's going to give you access to both Galaxyland and World Water Park over both days. So it also has staggered times for some of the other slides as well, not opening until 2:30. So that being said, I hope maybe I'll do 2 visits here, get everything done in 2 days, because it looks like I could basically pop right in for an hour, do a couple slides, pop right out, and then come back later when hopefully those other extreme slides are open. Hey there. Well, I'm not actually in the mall, obviously. I'm right next to the giant World Water Park roof, as you can see right next to me. I haven't been into anything yet. It's 1:30. By this time, I was hoping to actually start my enjoyment of the attractions here at West Edmonton Mall. Unfortunately, that is not the case yet, but I will be getting down there in a moment. But I wanted to sum up a couple of things that I've discovered, talking with the park representatives, and just some other things that I've discovered while just kind of checking in and getting established here. There are a lot of attractions closed, so I do consider it remarkable that they were open on a weekday. The parks, both World Water Park and Galaxyland. Unfortunately for World Water Park today, that means that they are focused mainly on a family offering, which most of the extreme slides are not available. Now, the management of World Water Park was super helpful to sort of establish what my options were for everything. There is a pass, as I said, for 2 days that you can get into both parks, unlimited access, which works out to $126 Canadian with tax. However, without the extreme slides available, and also Mindbender not available at Galaxyland, and Havoc, unfortunately, which is one of their extreme flat rides, there's just no value in that for me currently, unfortunately, for that pass. In fact, most of what I've come to do here at West Edmonton Mall today, attractions-wise, I might not even get a chance to try out, which is kind of heartbreaking. Because obviously I was here mainly for Mindbender, of which it doesn't look like I'm going to get any chance to ride that at all during my visit here today. Kind of really gutted about that. It's been down for about 3 months for undisclosed reasons. I have been in touch with the park itself to find out why that is. They haven't clarified exactly. They've just said keep checking at the website to see if it comes back available. Here's hoping maybe on tomorrow it comes back into service. I highly doubt it since it hasn't been since July. And yeah, it's World Water Park. We're going to try it again tomorrow because they are open at 10 a.m., so 2 hours earlier than today. And they said that they may have an increased offering in extreme slides. Just for perspective's sakes, there's really only one available today, of which at 2:30 they're switching to a different slide. And yeah, so that's like of the 5 major adult slides that they have available, only one of them is available today. So it's just not worth it for me, unfortunately. And yeah, Galaxyland's offering also is a bit underwhelming. We're going to find out about that firsthand because that's where I'm going right now. And I've decided to get an evening pass, which will only be $35 to get inside to the park. And I'll have 3 hours to enjoy it. So it'll be a bit of a whirlwind tour coming up here at Galaxyland and West Edmonton Mall. But I figured I just want to give you some insight into that. The hotel that I'm staying at, which is the Fantasyland Hotel, does in fact offer a reduced rate for those of you that are staying at this hotel. However, if you booked, say, through a third party or like I did, hotels.com, yeah, you're getting that nice little stamp for your stay, but you're not going to get to take advantage of that discount because it's only when you book through the hotel directly that you get that. Yeah, so disappointed somewhat in that too, but we're going to try to recover this whole situation. I'm in Edmonton with very little to do right now, it looks like. Here comes Galaxyland. Here's hoping that we get a good complement of rides tomorrow, maybe, and today we'll just get a feel of the park. And so that's where I'm headed now. I'll see you in a second.
You know, again, the Draisaitl-McDavid pairing also depends on how good other pairings or other lines could look.
So I together, RNH hasn't been able to carry a line offensively. The second line just hasn't been able to get it done, and that was
in the second period. Panthers and Lightning. It's a 3-1 lead for the Lightning after 2. Second period, Detroit's up 2-0 on Pittsburgh. Minnesota leads Chicago 1-0 after 1. Also after the first, Dallas up 1-0 on the Avalanche. And still to come tonight, the Coyotes and the Golden Knights.
Hi, welcome to Edmonton. Welcome to Edmonton myself. First time ever downtown. It's been quite a day already. Just coming from West Edmonton. There's no shortage of muscle cars and trucks and SUVs in Edmonton. Lots of construction. It feels like I'm in Montreal all over again, as I was only there just a couple days ago. You know, I feel like the massive amount of construction that was part of my home city has moved on to these other Canadian cities. It is packed. Now I'm headed to Rogers Place, probably the most beautiful arena built recently in Canada, and really like puts to shame mostly any other stadium or arena in the country. It just so happens tonight there is a early season, preseason NHL game. Bit of a rivalry between Vancouver and Edmonton. You can see everybody streaming in here. I'm gonna try to. I'm just gonna tempt myself by seeing how much exactly it might cost to get into them. Beginning of a possible interior adventure. I'm just gonna see how much that might cost me. Okay, we're off. We're gonna go inside the stadium. I got a ticket. Cost me $40 to get in the upper tier. They're also nice enough to get me a seat on an aisle, because I have another engagement tonight. So, whew, I'm already out of breath because so you guys know, Rogers Place has a no bag policy, and I obviously have a bag on me because I have all my gear. So I gotta take that back to my vehicle and then run back to the game. We're gonna do a tour of the stadium, get a bite to eat, watch a little hockey, and then I'll be doing a separate vlog for a separate event inside Edmonton. It's a whirlwind day here for day one of Edmonton. We're going to see a hockey game in one of the stadiums I've long wanted to check out. There's another one coming up in a couple days too. Oh, okay, like I said, we're headed inside and I forgot my batteries. So I'm gonna try to conserve energy. This might be a half and half between the phone and my good camera. So here we go. Rogers Place. A little impromptu visit coming up here. First period's about to end. We gotta hustle as I only have enough time for one period. Two floors up and against the curved wall.
They're basically the same place. They go with like that.
regretfully it. I gotta head out of here because I'm going down to another event. Edmonton's winning, so I would hope that that's what it's gonna stay as. We'll check that out in the third period. All right, well, thank you for joining us. This place is incredible. I don't know. We've got our own Staples Centers here in Edmonton. Well, we don't, because I live on the other side of the country, and the ACC for Toronto is a pale shade of what this stadium is about, because, well, it's an arena, it's a rink, but wow, I am well impressed, and I can't wait to come back for an official game. But for now, we'll continue on my Edmonton adventure, because my next destination won't be part of this video, but I'll see you a little later on. Hello, yes, it's another day, and here I am at Commonwealth Stadium, just to the north of the downtown, or northwest of downtown Edmonton. Rather famous stadium that I've long wanted to visit. Unfortunately, the Edmonton Elks, the team that plays here, come here to do a bit of a walk around. I'm going to do a walk around the stadium. It's a massive stadium that was and has been, and it still is, one of the largest in Canada. And on specific events, it can hold more than 50,000 people inside, which makes Edmonton always sort of a big destination for large events, such as, for example, the World Cup, if it comes to Canada, or that actually happens, then yeah, one of the games could end up being played here. Edmonton also is a very well laid out city for the Commonwealth Games that it hosted, and as per the original building of this stadium, there was a transit station located right next door to the stadium as well, which leads you also to Northlands Coliseum, which we'll be visiting next. Is another arena just up the line, which, from as a kid's perspective, having a stadium of this size and what was at the time, for unfortunately an overly urbanite child like myself from Toronto, it seemed like a very vast, massive project, and thus fascinating because of that. And thus fascinating. Stadium has been renovated numerous times over the last 4 decades, thus it remains a relic, a well-preserved example of that 1980s, late 70s architecture, primarily buildings made with concrete only as its defining trait, and the very formalist design of a building like this harkens to brutalism, of which I'm a large fan of. And overall, if you do like that kind of look, then you definitely should come and check this stadium out. It would be nice to be able to get inside for a visit. Alas, not meant to be today. Not to get too Canadiana on you, for those of you that are gladly watching outside of Canada, but you know, as a youth, watching networks like the CBC, and watching NHL games and watching even the occasional CFL game, you know, these places were very fascinating to me as a kid. So here I am visiting them for the first time in my life. So I don't know if I'll ever be back to Edmonton ever. I'm gonna confess halfway through the trip, I'll probably sum that up again at the end of this particular vlog. But yeah, it doesn't seem like there's too many attractions, even if I was here during the summer or the peak winter times, to bring me back to the city, other than, say, I don't know, a personal invite to ride Mindbender, but I don't think that's really gonna happen. So we're now at a weird spot. Maybe exit. Smoking or vaping permitted. Well, there's a great spot of the sign here I'm gonna try to capture. I don't think I'm gonna go inside Commonwealth Stadium. Well, this is kind of neat because it looks like we'll be able to actually get a shot of the inside of the stadium, despite it being closed, because this gate is open, or at least like it's still see-through, so you can get in and check it out. I'm just going to sum everything up here now that I'm getting close back to my vehicle. I'm just going to enjoy the other side of the stadium. There's not much different than the other side I've already shown you. Green and gold, isn't it most fitting? Like, you can see the beautiful trees right now, and I will say Edmonton, the first thing I noticed when I got here was the golden trees flying in. It's just beautifully, very gold, like green and gold. While significant in America for different teams and connotations, and even for some Manchester United fans, much maligned. Yeah, it's could not have been a more fitting color combination of choice for this team and the stadium, and that uniform seat color, which, while being in Rogers Place last night, I would say I enjoyed the black seats more than the multicolored options out there. In this particular stadium, the seating choice is absolutely gorgeous and fitting to the city itself. As far as how it looks, its overall feel, it's a very apt choice. Fascinating stadium. I will say, you know, I did say, you know, if I don't really come back to Edmonton, it's unfortunate that I didn't get inside. But if I do come back to Edmonton and there happens to be an event that I can enjoy here, I most certainly will take it in, as it is definitely an impressive stadium just from the outside, and I would wholeheartedly like to see what it's like on the inside. I know there's some, even former colleagues of mine, that have visited this stadium numerous times for work reasons, and it's almost like a reminder of that to them. But for me, you know, that's the whole thing. The associations that you have with certain places, if they are, say, from your hometown, and you don't look at them in quite the same way as you do if they were further flung, that definitely applies with this stadium for me, in the sense that it's fascinating because it was so far out there, and it is probably so far out there for most people. largest stadium in North America in the north, or most northerly largest. Let's try that one again. The largest stadium in North America in the most northerly largest stadium in North America. I don't think any of that made sense. All right, we'll see you in a second. We are at our second destination here, an empty parking lot, as the former home of Wayne Gretzky and the Edmonton Oilers, much notorious or much celebrated as probably one of the greatest, if not the greatest, NHL team of all time, was headquartered here, the Northlands Coliseum. Now, because this area is essentially now just a community rec center and sometimes holds special events, it is essentially deserted. And yeah, it's also unfortunately full of some non-welcoming characters. So I would definitely not recommend coming here at night. Even now, it just seems a little... Yeah, at least the places that I'm going, which were former places of joy and celebration, much like this stadium. Well, the atmosphere is unfortunately long gone from here now. Regardless, this is a classic design, again, from that brutalist age of concrete-focused buildings. It seems tiny from the outside, considering you do have an entire rink in there. As mentioned, for those of us that like brutalism and love brutalist buildings, well, this is just like, this arena is an icon of that design, where it's so simplified from the outside, even very utilitarian with garbage. We're in the back of the building, however, so have to forgive that. Like I said, the city was set up well, as the LRT station to get to the stadium is located directly next door to the stadium. Probably a benefit of the era of which it was built. They built this from the ground up, so it was very utilitarian and made sense. And transit was relatively easy to get here to enjoy a game. Now, regretfully, as all of those structural elements that were incorporated in part of these brutalist design buildings start to decay, it adds evidence to how old these structures are now, and will no doubt need to be replaced in the near future for another purpose, as Edmonton now has a world-class arena to call its own. So impressive last night, that arena. I have to say, I'm gonna be stymied to think of a place that is that much more luxurious than that stadium or that arena last night, Rogers Place. It really is a remarkable achievement and really keeps this city on a global scale for events or otherwise. For those of you curious about actually visiting here and not just watching this video, you can walk around the entire arena, as I'm doing right now. There's not much to look at other than what I'm highlighting. I'm going to be completely honest. As you can see, all of the original infrastructure that was built around here has long sort of just been left to be repurposed or evolve into much next to nothing, much like this hotel next door and other businesses like the parking garage, which look long dis and out of use. But that is the situation with an arena that is empty. Okay, so that's it, guys, from the Northlands Coliseum complex. As we go back into the city now, I'm on a bridge to get a nice shot to lead us to our next destination, downtown in Edmonton. So, I was trying to get over to the Alberta legislature, which is just over here, which is where I'm going to actually probably wrap up this vlog after my adventure here in town. All right, nearly time to end this Alberta adventure. Yeah, it's just kind of a nightmare. It reminds me of Hamilton as far as driving is concerned, because the downtown has a lot of one-way streets, and trying to get in around the Saskatchewan River, I don't know, maybe I've just chosen the wrong spots as the first time intuition, because yeah, just some insight. I'm not doing this with any maps. I'm just discovering this city organically, as I have any of the cities that I've traveled to in the world. Main reason why is because if I come back, I will remember it and I'll know exactly where I am and how to get around. Okay, so we finally reached the legislature building. This whole downtown area is situated on a plateau, which isn't actually a plateau, because the Saskatchewan River Valley, don't really need this on right now, Saskatchewan River Valley is basically just over there, which is what we just drove through to get onto the other side here and get those brilliant views of the city. So, as you can see, the rotunda of this very impressive government building is unfortunately covered, so we're only going to get a slight glance of what the majesty of this building might actually be on a regular day. This building right next to the legislature building kind of sums up my impressions of Edmonton, at least currently on a first visit. It's like a 70s period building that is now out of service and decommissioned and trying to find its new... It looks like they're actually going to take this building down and rebuild it. And for those of you that are in Edmonton currently, or that know it, at least from this particular period of time in 2021, there is no shortage of change and construction in this city. There is a brilliant brutalist fountain area and common area right in front of the legislature that looks like its days might be numbered as well. Okay guys, well, I think I'm done with Edmonton. I'm gonna go get my meal and do my event tonight, but that is gonna be the tour. This is an area of the city that I did want to get to because it was the sort of last pocket that I hadn't touched. Overall impressions. Don't think I'll be coming back to Edmonton anytime soon, sadly enough. The main two reasons I came, or two of the big attractions that I came to try out, were unfortunately not available, and it hasn't been the most hospitable city. Maybe it's because of the current situation with COVID, and they've done so well with you know, doing it their own way here in Alberta, and that caught up to them a bit at this point in time. But I have not seen more security and more police in any Canadian city than I have here. And as you can tell by this downtown area, this is obviously the financial district, legislation, business, but it is a ghost town. And it often reminds me, or it is reminding me of some cities that I've been to where you don't exactly go for a good time. That all said, world-class stadiums, an excellent amusement park / water park. The water park was excellent, so check out that vlog. That's separate from this one. Devastated because of the attractions that weren't available at that particular park. The mall itself, it's almost now kind of like a relic of the past as far as the infrastructure is concerned. And that might be why a lot of this city seems to be under construction right now, because it seems like there was a construction boom in the 70s and 80s that now is just getting its turnover now too. So lots of new buildings are kind of popping up here and there, mainly residential, much like Toronto. But yeah, would I say it's a rip-rollicking 3-day visit? I certainly would not, but I would say if you are visiting at this time of year, Thanksgiving weekend, it's probably a great time to get a lot done in a short period of time and not be disappointed. All right guys, that's signing off here from Edmonton. Hope you enjoyed the vlog and all the adventures over the last 2 days. All right guys, thanks for watching. Always enjoy.